Before you say something you can't take back, hit pause. Today we're diving into power of self-control in your words, because what you say can either build your marriage or tear it down. Welcome to Bringing Hope Home. We're Bryce and Colette Schaffer, and we're on a mission to bring God's hope, healing, and practical strategies right into your living room. Whether you're navigating marriage challenges, parenting struggles, or just looking to build a stronger family foundation, we've got your back. Hey, welcome back to Bringing Hope Home. We're so glad you're here again for another month of podcast and the fruit of the Spirit, the last one.
Right, number 9.
Number 9. So we're into self-control.
Right, and I was telling somebody earlier about we're going to be on self-control, and the first thing out of their mouths was, the world could use more of that.
Yeah.
And couldn't we all? Because we lash out pretty quickly when our flesh gets agitated and irritated. And that's kind of a good thing. I mean, we're built to, when things are annoying us and poking and prodding us, whether it's physical or not, emotional, we are to speak out. We shouldn't be stuffing those things. That's another issue, another podcast. But self-control sometimes isn't good enough. We're not controlling some things in our lives and letting the chaos just get worse. So this one is all about the fruit of control. And that's one of the wonderful giftings of God, is to give us that control in our lives through Jesus Christ and the seed that he has planted on the inside of us, because that's what these are, the fruit of the seed of Christ, and let that produce in our life. So self-control, let's get after it today.
So we're going to start out with one that we always come back to, because in marriage, it's a big one, and that's communication.
Mm-hmm.
And so the self-control, how we control the tongue, and the Bible has a lot to say about how we control the tongue. And it says actually in James that if we can control the tongue, I mean, that's a mature person. You're
Right.
able to control the whole body.
Yeah.
And so if you want a mature marriage,
Right.
then you want one that you can bridle the tongue and take into account really what you're saying and make your words matter.
Right. And
not
have the
just
correct impact.
Yeah.
That's what we want, because it says in Proverbs that power of life and death are in the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so you got to know that your words matter, and they can make an impact regardless of actions. And really, words then are precursors to actions. And isn't that how God framed the world? He spoke and it was. He spoke and the action then followed. And we are not God, but we do have that power in our tongue to start the course and changing certain situations to the good or to the bad. We have that choice to play. And the Bible also says death and life are in front of you. Now choose life.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you choose it? How do you choose to make a change? How do you choose a great marriage? You start with your words.
Yeah.
And controlling what you say.
Right. So we're going to get into today some practical things that we can do in this area of communication, to have self-control and to really put a guard on our mouths, because the Bible talks about putting a guard there. And so what are some things that we can do to put that guard over our mouths?
Right.
And that would save a lot of heartache.
And you don't have to say everything that comes into your mind.
You don't have to say everything. In fact, you shouldn't say everything that comes into your mind.
Right. And the Bible talks about in 2 Corinthians 10 that we are to take every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. So before you say it, pause. And we're going to talk about a little bit more about that here in a minute. But let God capture your thoughts before you let them out.
And that goes into our first one, and that is the 24-hour rule.
Yes, that is a great one, the 24-hour rule. We have that same rule in our sports situations at the school. So it is an actual rule that parents are not allowed to come talk to coaches for 24 hours after an event. Because usually after an event, everybody's heated, everybody's exhausted, everybody is full of emotion
Mm-hmm.
because of whatever just happened.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, and so it's a 24-hour rule to pause, to give it a break, to allow cooler heads to prevail.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not a bad idea in our marriage either. If you're going to say something, and some things need to be said right away. I get it. We get it. You have to, because it's in the moment. But at the same time, there are many more things that if it's going to be a negative outcome, outburst, it could probably wait 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then you know what's going to happen. It's going to be changed, and the tone is changing. The texture is changing. The technique is changing.
Mm-hmm.
And that then can save the situation.
Right. And the main thing is not to speak in the heat of emotions. Emotions will take on a life of their own.
That's right.
And when you say things in the heat of emotions, um, yeah, it's going through that filter that maybe isn't true. Maybe
Mhm.
isn't your real heart intent, but you got swept up into the emotion
Yep.
of it.
So give yourself 24 hours sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Not everything needs a response in that moment, for
Right,
sure.
right.
So, and the other one, next one is replacing criticism with curiosity. I like this one, and you're really good at this one.
Yeah.
Better than I am, anyway.
And this is good. When you have a situation, someone says something, and maybe it triggers you. Instead of lashing out, stop and say, help me understand what you're saying.
Right.
Because how they said it might not be what they meant. There's how they say something, you could see it in a whole different way. We put meaning on things that maybe isn't there.
Right.
And so if you can just come back with, help me understand what you just said. That also helps them stop and think about, okay, what did I just say?
Hmm.
Can they explain it, or are they just going off
Yeah.
as well?
And another place to use this kind of technique is in texting. Because a lot of times we text back and forth certain things,
You can't hear the
and
tone.
you can't hear that tone, and even I've done that before. I'll text something and then I'll reread it and go, oh, that didn't sound the way I was typing it
Mm-hmm.
when I was typing it. So, it's okay to even text back. What do you mean by this? Are you sure this is what you mean? Something, just to
Mm-hmm.
be more curious rather than accusing.
Yeah. Instead of, well, you always say this, or you always,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
just
I love
ask.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. That's a good one. And then the next one, be a blessing reset. Allow grace into a situation. There's sometimes things do slip and they come out because of whatever the situation may be. You've all been there. But then allow God's grace and mercy to pause it. And the way you have to start this whole blessing reset is to not be so prideful. Because sometimes we get so prideful and haughty and like, I can't take that back now. What are we going to think? What's going to happen? Well, what's going to happen is it's going to slippery slope to nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to put the brakes on and not be prideful. Choose to come up at it a different way and say, stop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's not how I meant that. Let me rephrase this.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like in our family, we really do like to reset our week every week. On Sunday nights, we clean the house, we get ready for the week. A lot of people meal prep. Um, and you think, well, that's exhausting. You have to start early. You can't do what you always, want to do. Well, sometimes you have to do now so you can do stuff better later. Don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today. And like ours, for our family, just a natural reset is Sunday night. We vacuum, we clean, we dust. The laundry is done on Sundays. So our week, because everything piles up. And same thing with sometimes our communication. It just piles up and it gets where it's a little messy. So we're going to say, okay, we need to reset this. Let's reset the parameters. Let's figure things out again and clarify.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay.
Yep. Clean it up. Talk about, what are those things that how you said that hurt me. You can clarify
True.
some of those resets. Okay, we can't have this certain language in our marriage. One of the rules that we set clear back at the beginning of our marriage was we don't say divorce.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of our no words. You will never hear us say, not even joke about it. So that was a parameter that reset,
Right.
in the heat of the moment, we're like, okay, that's a rule. We got to reset this. That's not going to fly.
Yeah, that's not a good even tease.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave. No, that's a slippery slope. We don't do that.
Right.
Right, for sure.
The next one is creating new communication patterns.
Mm-hmm.
If you find yourself in the pattern of your communication is just maybe
Seems off.
or it's
And it's always ending in the same result.
mm-hmm, your communication is more reactive than proactive.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to make sure that you are, examine those things. Are you just being reactive to situations, to emotions?
Right.
And then create new boundaries. Be proactive.
Mm-hmm.
When you say it this way, I'm hearing it this
Right.
way. Or is there a better time? Honey, I am tired after a whole day, so that might not be the time to bombard me with your list of to-dos or whatever the situation is. You guys know your daily routine. But
Right.
changing those communication patterns, if it's going sour, then something needs to be
Right. So
switched up.
start little things. Just try little steps, and at least you're trying. And then you can laugh at it if it didn't work. And again, that in itself, just the try, the effort, is going to be a win.
Right.
And so again, you don't want to continue to have the fruit that you're having. So to get new fruit, you got to plant new seeds.
Mm-hmm.
So change things up if you have to on figuring out why you're ending in the same awful cycle.
Right.
For sure.
So there's a practical thing that you can do that I've come up with, and it's just the stop method. So if you're in this cycle of, of harsh words and you're wanting to have self-control in your communication, then here's the stop. So the S is simply just stop. Stop what you're doing. Desist. Don't say anything.
Yeah.
Just stop from what you're doing. The T is take a breath.
And it's amazing how that helps.
Just taking a pause. Take a breath.
You didn't know how tense you were.
Yeah, just breathe. And sometimes just breathing is all you need. The O is observe your heart.
This is critical.
This is critical right here. Observe your heart. Observe, why is this maybe triggering? What is it that's going on the inside? Yeah. Just to take a step back and say, "Whew, that got me there.
Yeah,
why is that? Was it the tone? Was it, just kind of observe what's going on in your own heart." And then the last one is the most important. The P is pray.
Yeah.
Pray before proceeding. Lord, help my words, help guide my conversation. And this comes back to even the 24-hour. When you're taking that pause and taking that stop, and you're able to pray, then, Lord, show me how, what do I need to say here that's going to get to the root of the situation? I remember doing that a lot in our first years of marriage. Maybe I didn't agree with something that you were saying, but I could tell if I just was speaking then, it wasn't going to go anywhere. It was just going to be a word war, and it wasn't going to, because emotions were high and everything. So, and maybe I took a pause just because I didn't like conflict. That could be. I wanted to hide from conflict. But in that time, this is where it worked to my advantage. I would pray, Lord, show me what to say. I wouldn't run from the issue. Lord, show me how to
Right.
approach this
You allow him to
differently
talk to you.
for the timing and how. So maybe there's a conversation that needs to happen, but the timing is off. Again, that 24-hour, the right after a game is not the time to talk to the coach.
Right.
So after something happens might not be the perfect time to talk to your spouse. You might say, "Oh, there's an issue here. I would like to come and revisit
Right.
this."
Let's talk
Um,
about this later.
but the Holy Spirit will give you what to say, how to say it, and when to say it. He is our helper. And yes, He wants to help in those detailed things, those practical things of our life. He will help just deflate the tension
Right. Right.
and help the love back in. So
Right.
use the
He's
Holy
all
Spirit.
about you. He's all about advocating for the best in your life. So, yeah, taking time to pray, to pause, to stop that chain of events that's about to unleash into your marriage. It's just key. And again, you are to be each other's best advocate, and to pause and to pray, and to build each other up, to be each other's advocate, not each other's, little punching bag.
Right.
Right? And we take it all day long in our jobs, with our bosses and other places. We just take it, we take it, we take it. And then we get home and all of a sudden, boom, I gotta unleash because I can't take it anymore. Well, the family is not to take the ones that should be unleashed on. Again, if you need a little time away for yourself, pause and pray to change your mindset and to realize your family isn't your enemy. They're your greatest assets. And we need to treat them like our greatest assets for sure. So, yeah, this is a good start to self-control, which we all need to keep a guard on and not slip in this area.
Yeah. And we'll continue this conversation next week when we're talking about kind of the pushing of the buttons as well. So come back next week and we'll continue.
Right, for sure. So until then, remember to bring hope home to your life today.
If you're listening on the Apple Podcast app, give us a 5-star rating and drop a review. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a follow. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. See you next week.